How did you get your name, Sweet Baby James?
This guy was named Sweet Smelling Eddie. Sweet Smelling Eddie was player, and he smelled good. He said, "Man, I could walk through Fred Meyer's."
Player, that's a synonym for pimp.
And he would say, "I'd walk through Fred Meyer's and look back 30 feet, and there's a bunch of women smelling way out there." And I dug it, man, you know what I'm saying? So I got hooked up, and somebody got a cat's name on it, Sweet Smelling Eddie. Got some guys trying to look him up. Oh, we don't know what happened to him, he just disappeared, man, you know what I'm saying?
Well, a lot of these folks that he's talking about, along with once in a while some of the employees of the players, would come to a pool hall and Top Cue Billiards. But it was owned by this man here, Mr. Ed Slaughter. And his son is here, Malcolm. Say, greet Malcolm Slaughter. Malcolm has a lot of qualities of his father. And I want to talk to you about the man, Ed Slaughter. First of all, he was a giant of a man. He was probably 6'4" or 5", and weighed 270 conservatively. And he had a voice that rumbled. It was a very deep, a bass baritone voice. Ideally, he would have been a great radio, or at that time didn't have television, but he belonged on radio. Of course, Portland radio didn't have African Americans on it then, nor hardly today. If anybody here owns a radio station, hang your head. But Slaughter ran the pool hall. The jukebox that you see in the picture was called a canned ham because of its shape. He owned the box, he owned the music that he put on. Standing there is very typical of his position in the hall, because he was so into the music and he wanted to spread his doctrine of jazz. He wanted everybody to know about jazz, and then not only that, but what was good jazz and what was not any good. Now, he never had any poor jazz on his box. He couldn't stand, for example, it took me a lot of years, and I just broke through about 2 years ago to accept Charlie Parker with strings. Why? Because Ed Slaughter told me when I was about 16 years old that it was a shame and a crime that they put Charlie Parker with strings, and it should never have happened, and he wouldn't let it on his jukebox. Therefore, I went 40, 50 years refusing to listen to Charlie Parker with strings. Ed ran a tight pool hall, even with all the characters, and Ben Johnson's here, and he could very well chip in on this discussion because of the characters, and they had street names. You could know somebody for 25, 30 years and never know the righteous name, because we knew them as Foots. Now tell us about some of those characters that.
Nick, what I think about this, one of the days I go up to 23rd Northwest and drive through that area. That's the way Williams used to be, man. When it was two-way, man, the streets was full and people walking and showing off and profiling. So we came out of that area, you know, where you had to be pretty at all times. You know? I was wearing my hair down here. I was so pretty I couldn't walk. You look back at it when it happened, you know? But there was some hip cats on the streets. You learned to understand what they were saying and what they were about. There was some weird cats, you know. That was the thing I'd always liked to know about, is the place called the Ice Box. There was a place, all the cats on the street had named the icebox, because that's where all the cold-blooded dudes hang out. Look there by Emmanuel Hospital, man. And some of the most dangerous suckers on earth would come through there, man. Some dangerous cats hung out in that joint. We didn't think it was dangerous at the time, because we didn't have with them, you know what I'm saying? But after you realize, man, it's pretty scary cats on the streets, you know. They didn't hurt us. They didn't like us drinking, doing drugs like they do now.
No, that was the other thing. With all the characters that were in the pool hall, there were a lot of drug addicts and some suppliers, and but the rule was, and they didn't. In fact, you'd be surprised that a lot of those so-called characters were very encouraging and supportive of us youngsters, whether we were in high school, coming out of high school, going to college, of trying to be successful in our adult life. And they would hold themselves up as a negative role model. Say, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to live like I have to live. Go out and make something out of yourself.
I remember so well.
Slaughter again influenced me with my own choices of jazz to the extent that in the early 1950s I wrote a record review column for the Portland Challenger newspaper, and I called it Slaughter on Williams Avenue. And it's interesting that Bob Dietschy, the author of the... No, his wife was ill, he couldn't make it tonight, but he's the author of Jumptown, The History of Jazz in Portland, 1947-1952. Had a chapter devoted to Ed Slaughter, and he took the name of my review column from the 1950s and called the chapter Slaughter on Williams Avenue, and talked about the impact that this man had. I think he would be proud right now if he knew that the impact that he had is heard on KMHD every Monday when I'm on.
Woo! It was coming along at that time.
Yeah.
Proctor, Sidney was Proctor and myself. We were in the underbelly of what was going on. You know, we hung out with the lowlifers in a way sometimes. Both sides, you know. And we used to make some wine called soul juice. But what it is, it's a drink that the old blacks back up in the Uncle Bubba farm, they make this stuff called chalk. Horrible looking stuff, man. And you couldn't hit the ground with your hat. 2 drinks of that, you missed the ground every time. We used to make 35 gallons of that stuff. And boy, everybody be out there crying. Those were the fun nights. Because I had a place in my backyard almost this size where all the musicians come and cut their teeth. Oh yeah, by the way, Mel Brown. Yeah. Mel Brown came to the joint. The guy brought him up to my place. He was about 16. He said, I got this kid you want to hear. Hey, okay, claim on it here. Wow! He just tore the building down. In about 6 months after that, the big band, Walter Bridges' big band was at the rehearsal in the backyard. And the drummer got tired, so he went out to take a break. I said, why don't you let this kid sit in? Take a little quarter, say, man, let this kid play. Boy, Mel Brown sit down to the drums, hats and shoes was flying out of that drum. He wiped the band completely out. I'll never forget that, man. How he was.
And drummer Bobby Ross lost his job right there.
Yeah, but skeet out the booth, $100 wood. $100 wood had to have $100 in his pocket every day, see? He said, man, somebody might come through here and buy Williams. I ain't got $100. I might have to run, you know. So he kept $100 in his pocket. Diamond Jim, all these cats.
Watch out, Diamond Jim. Last time I heard he was about 99 years old and he was still living, so he might show up.
Right, man. I won't talk too much, yeah. But those are the days, man, when music was music. We had about 12 joints where you go and hang out. What started me in music, what made me want to sing was Look at Sonny Thompson with Jay McNeely. This guy would be singing, man. Wow! And he was up on top of the piano while he's singing this stuff. Who is this dude, man? Listen to that. He walked down with him, about 9 girls all screaming. That's what I want to be. That's for me right there, you know. That's how I got into music, man, you know.
Williams Avenue was really the hub of jazz in Portland, and because you could step outside the door from Slaughter's Pool Hall, and you could hear music coming out of other clubs, restaurants. Everything had a jukebox. You could smell the ribs, and you could hear the music from a wide area. Another thing too was that when the bands would come to town, like Big J McNeely, they would have a parade, and they'd get a convertible car with the top down, and they'd parade up and down Williams Avenue, announcing their presence and the gig for the night, usually at the Fraternal Hall, which was a whole other story. But anyway.
Proctor, that was Williams and Broadway. That was about 2 blocks from Ed Slaughter's place. That was a dog that hung down there with the pimps and the players and the gangsters, and they called him Jack. His dog was named Jack. And this sucker would run up to that Safeway on the corner of what is that? Broadway and Williams. And this dog would go in there and go down and run in the store and get him a can of dog food and take off, man, go back down there with the pimps. And they would open it up for him. And I always wondered how the hell that dog knew that it was can food and run down there for the pimps to open it up for him.
It was Jack the dog.
Jack the dog, So catch me down on Mississippi, Russell. They had a dog, he'd go to his house. He'd jump up on your lap if you're smoking, see? All the guests. Throw some stuff in a paper sack and put it on his head. He'd lay there while he's putting it on his head, see? And get loaded. He'd go in there and lay down and start a park. And if you go in there smoking a camel and blow that smoke in his face, I'll never forget this damn dog boy. Some of the stuff that happened on the street.
Baby James, at the beginning of the show, I promised you guys would talk about some of these nicknames. I mean, you were telling me you guys didn't know the actual names of any one of them. Everyone just had a nickname.
You don't do that.
And they had some good ones. So tell us about the guy called the Monkey Whooper.
The Monkey Whooper. They had a carnival that came to Portland. And they had a little chimpanzee. He said, anybody stay in the rain with this monkey, you're going to give you $5. This dude jumped in the ring and almost killed the damn monkey, you know what I'm saying? $5 he had to go pull him off with a monkey. And ever since then they call him the Monkey Whooper.
Who was the Swami?
The Swami. Franklin, you remember the Swami? Here's a brother that came to town with a big turban, had his gowns and shit, and the only thing he was saying, Locky, Fendi. And everybody would go for it. Until they found out he was from Mississippi or someplace. What the hell out of here, man? The Swami.
Yeah, a lot of these names I never heard of. The Mighty Earthquake.
Oh, yeah, the Mighty Earthquake was that's when Proctor and about 5 of us had a little game, like, we walking down Williams. So we see this big dude coming down the street. So he's a pretty tough little dude. I said, who is this punk? What are you doing on the same side of the street we are? Well, he weighed about 350. We're a big dude. Little punks. So the guy said, hit him, James. I slapped him. I didn't know he was the Mighty Earthquake, a wrestler that came to town. That sucker grabbed me. Hit me so hard I went back across the street backwards and my heel hung from the skirt and the head hit the sidewalk out. So I looked at my buddies. Where's your friends at? We wound up being friends after that. That was Everett Hall. Remember Tom? Everett Hall.
Skeet Out the Boot.
Skeet Out the Boot was a drummer. Remember Lightning? It was in nickname, Skeet Out the Boot.
So Lightning and Skeet Out the Boot were the same guy. Well, let's see, we've talked about Diamond Jim. Is that the real...
The Diamond Jim, you know, with all the diamonds.
The diamond in his tooth?
Yeah.
He was an entrepreneur. And he shifted from gambling and ladies to real estate as they got older. In truth, he did.
It's love to live, man. I came up with him. Hard cats, man. They were sweet. We'll get back to music right now. I'd like to thank Dick.
I got to show this to you. It says, in appreciation of Dick Bogle for a lifetime of promoting good music, presented by the Musicians of Portland, 2006. Well, thank you very much. Would you hold on to this for just a second? I got something for you.
Where do I go from here? This is ringing. Oh, man, what is this? I don't owe nobody, man.
I promise, Mr. James.
Oh, yeah!
I hope you got room to hang that someplace.
Yeah, I'm going to carry it with me.
I want to take just a moment for some thank you remarks.
Hey, man.
My friends are here. I want to thank Lewis Payne, his wife Tracy, who put their heart into this event and really made it happen. You know, what's really cool about it is people said nice things about me, and I'm still alive. And I really like to have it this way rather than the alternative, you know, because everybody gets all sentimental and when you're gone. But this was very nice. I appreciate folks being here. Appreciate the good music and the thought and the heart, soul that went into this event. Again, and thanks for coming out because it meant a lot to me. And I hope you've enjoyed the music and Sweet Babies and my rap. Good night.